Leviathans. They have always had a grip on the Subnautica community, due to the sheer terror and beauty that comes from looking at these creatures. Today I'm going to be ranking the Leviathans from the first game, based on how dangerous they are in a realistic situation, not by size, not by law, but by actual threat to the player. And let me tell you now, that the biggest Leviathans in Subnautica are not automatically the most dangerous. The size and law of a creature doesn't decide what actually kills players. What matters is how likely a Leviathan is to end your life. So today, I'm ranking every Leviathan by real danger. Every Leviathan today will be judged using the same 6 criteria: aggression level, damage output, the ability to trap or corner the player, the biome pressure, so how hard it is to escape, the frequency of encounters, and psychological pressure. Today, we will be travelling in our trusted prawn suit and exploring these Leviathans together. So let's get going. Our first stop is quite close to us already. The grassy plateaus are one of the many biomes home to the Reefback Leviathan. Let's get closer to this guy, as he looks pretty friendly. The Reefback Leviathan is a passive creature, and it can be quite calming to see them. Therefore, it's safe to say that the aggression level will be a 0 out of 10. Next is the damage output. This is very minimal with the Reefbacks. There may be some unintentional collision damage, and you may be attacked by the annoying tiger plants, so I'll give this a low 2 out of 10. Moving on to its ability to trap the player, this is yet again a 0 out of 10. It moves slowly and has no ill intention towards us as a player. Isn't that right, sir? Biome pressure is very low yet again, as it swims near the surface of all its biomes, very easy to escape. 0 out of 10. Now we move on to the frequency of encounters, which is very high. As passive as they are, you will find them across many biomes, in huge groups, but not the deeper biomes. So I'd say 8 out of 10 is a fair rating. Lastly, we move on to psychological pressure. The Reefback may be initially intimidating when you hear its deep voice, but once you get closer, you realise it's just a friendly giant in this ocean, which is why I'll give it a 3 out of 10. In conclusion, these are your friendly but loud neighbours in this watery world. The Reefback Leviathan scores 11 out of 60 points, which ranks them in the best friends tier. As we move onwards, looking for more Leviathans, I come across the Sparse Reef, followed by the Grand Reef. This is an absolutely beautiful biome, and as I'm admiring the beauty, something caught the corner of my eye, and it was no other than the adult Ghost Leviathan. Quickly, let's hide behind this rock. The adult Ghost Leviathan is a blue translucent Leviathan, 107 meters long. They are no joke. They are highly aggressive when approached, and will attack as soon as they notice you. However, it sometimes takes time for them to charge at you, so 8 out of 10 aggression. Damage output is high. When it comes to these guys, they deal 84 damage to the player, 42 to the sea moth, 14 to the prawn suit, and 250 to the cyclops. These are pretty high numbers, but can still give you a chance to escape with your life, so a 7 out of 10 would be fair. They have a decent ability to trap the player or corner them, as they are fast creatures, but open water helps you escape, especially if you are in the void. You can just make a U-turn and run. 6 out of 10. Very similar with biome pressure. It is in biomes that offer a lot of open space, allowing you to run away. However, the biomes can be incredibly unsettling and disorientating, such as the northern blood kelp zone and the void. 7 out of 10. There are only 3 adult Ghost Leviathans you can bump into on this crater, meaning that the frequency of these Leviathans is low. However, there will always be at least 3 Ghost Leviathans in the void waiting for you. So, 5 out of 10. Now, when it comes to psychological pressure, its silent movement followed by its high-pitched shrieks make this Leviathan absolutely terrifying. especially in dark open waters when you don't know what to expect. Easy 10 out of 10. In conclusion, the Ghost Leviathan ranks 43 out of 60. This is a very high score, and it's best to just run if you value your life. Oh no, he spotted us. Quickly, let's escape through here. Phew, that was a close one. My PDA says that we are in the Sea Treader's Path biome. This is great, as another Leviathan resides here, the Sea Treaders. These guys are much more friendly than the Ghost Leviathans, but not as friendly as the Reefback. They have low aggression and will only attack you if you get in their way. Sounds fair to me. 2 out of 10. When it comes to damage output, this is where things can get a little dangerous, but only accidentally. A misplaced step or getting caught underneath one of these giants can deal a serious hit to us as the player. It's not intentional, but it can hurt, so I'll give a damage output a 4 out of 10. Next is their ability to trap or corner the player, and thankfully this is fairly low. Sea Treaders are slow, predictable, and they don't chase you. As long as you stay aware of where they're stepping, escape is easy. That puts this category at a 2 out of 10. Now moving on to biome pressure. The Sea Treader's path is wide and fairly open, but it's also deep, dark and disorienting if you're not prepared. There is room to escape, but limited landmarks and vertical mobility can make it uncomfortable, so biome pressure lands at a 4 out of 10. Now for the frequency of encounters. Sea Treaders are only found in this one biome, but when you do enter it, you're almost guaranteed to see multiple of them at once. Because of that, I'd rate frequency at a 4 out of 10. Finally, psychological pressure. These Leviathans aren't terrifying in a jump scare sense, but the sound of the massive footsteps behind you, combined with the slow movement of the ground itself, creates an eerie atmosphere. It's unsettling rather than scary, so psychological pressure gets a 3 out of 10. In conclusion, the Sea Treaders get a 19 out of 60, which is not too high, but it's not low either. So we're going to put it in the safe-ish category. Now let's keep moving to the next biome. As I exited the Sea Treader's path, my PDA alerted me that I'm entering the Dunes biome. It looked quite dead, the water was quite dirty, and then I heard it. That unmistakable scream. The Reaper Leviathan isn't just another predator. It's the reason this place feels like a horror game. From the moment I entered its territory, I'm no longer exploring, I'm being hunted. Starting with aggression level, this one is simple. The Reaper is extremely aggressive. It doesn't warn you, it doesn't circle, it charges. If it sees you or your vehicle, it attacks. No hesitation. That is a clear 10 out of 10. Now on to damage output. This is where the Reaper really earns its reputation. One grab can nearly destroy a Seamoth, and repeated attacks will tear vehicles apart. Even the Cyclops isn't safe for long if you're careless. This earns a 9 out of 10. Next is the ability to trap or corner the player, and this is arguably the Reaper's most dangerous trait. Unlike other Leviathans, the Reaper can physically grab your vehicle, stun you, and completely remove your ability to escape. Once it has you, panic sets in fast. This category has to be a brutal 10 out of 10 again. Moving on to biome pressure. Reapers don't live in wide open, forgiving spaces. They patrol wrecks, the Aurora Crush Zone, and areas with limited visibility and narrow escape routes. When you try to flee, there's often nowhere to go. Here, the dunes may seem wide open, but there's many Reapers waiting for you. Biome pressure is extremely high, 9 out of 10. Now for frequency of encounters. This is not some rare endgame Leviathan. Reapers appear early, often near objectives you have to visit. New players run into them before they're prepared, before they have upgrades, and before they even understand how to escape. Because of that, frequency gets a 9 out of 10. And finally, Psychological pressure. This is where the Reaper truly becomes number one. The scream, the sudden charge, the way it comes from behind, below, or out of the fog. Even experienced players panic when they hear it, and panic causes mistakes, missed controls, wrong turns, bad decisions. This is an easy 10 out of 10. Final verdict: the Reaper Leviathan doesn't just kill you, it makes you panic, terrified in your final moments. In conclusion, the Reaper comes in at a staggering 57 out of 60. It's clear that all you should do is run. I'm really curious to see if there's any other Leviathans out there that will come close to the Reaper. Oh no, it sees us, we've got to move. I don't like this place, but I'll jump down here, maybe I can escape it. Right, I think the Reaper's not chasing us anymore. Now I've come across the Lost River. Let's see if any Leviathans are here. Hold on, didn't we already encounter one of these? You may be thinking, but no, this is a juvenile Ghost Leviathan, so that means it's technically a baby Ghost Leviathan. The other one we saw earlier is much bigger. While it may be smaller than the adult, don't let that fool you. These creatures are far more aggressive in practice and far less forgiving of mistakes. Think of them as a reckless teenager. Starting with aggression level, this is very high. Juveniles are constantly patrolling this tight space. Unlike the Void, the Lost River isn't as spacious, and they will aggressively pursue the player once spotted. They feel relentless compared to adults, so this earns a 9 out of 10. Next is damage output. While still dangerous, juveniles don't hit as hard as their adult counterparts. They can seriously damage you and your vehicle, especially early game, but they're less likely to outright delete you in one encounter alone. Because of that, damage output gets a 6 out of 10. Now for the ability to trap or corner the player, and this is where juveniles shine. They're faster, more agile, and operate in far tighter environments. Narrow tunnels, choke points, and vertical drops make escaping far more stressful. This category earns a 7 out of 10. Moving on to biome pressure. The Lost River is not forgiving. Limited visibility, confusing layouts, and restricted movement make every encounter more dangerous. Even if the Leviathan itself isn't the strongest, the environment absolutely is. Biome pressure is a solid 7 out of 10. Moving on to frequency of encounters. Unlike the adult Ghost Leviathans, juveniles are placed directly along the main progression path. You will encounter them if you're advancing the story, often before you're fully prepared. That puts frequency at a 6 out of 10. And finally, psychological pressure. This is where juveniles punch far above their weight. Being chased through tight tunnels, hearing shrieks echo through the caverns, and not knowing where the exit is, causes instant panic, especially for first-timer players. Easy 9 out of 10. So in conclusion, the juvenile Ghost Leviathan gets a 38 out of 60. It feels more dangerous than the adults, but only because of when and where you encounter it. On paper it's weaker. So, we'll put it in the same category as run if you value your life. I'm not going to stick around for much longer. Let's keep going. Okay, I think we're entering the lava zone now. I don't know if there's any Leviathans down here, but if I'm correct, there should be one last one that we haven't seen yet. And there he is, the Sea Dragon Leviathan. As we descend into this lava zone, the environment itself becomes lethal. Lava flows beneath us, the water boils, escape routes disappeared. This is no longer just an ocean, it's a hostile world, and ruling over it is the Sea Dragon Leviathan. The Sea Dragon is one of the largest aggressive creatures in Subnautica, and unlike many Leviathans, it doesn't rely on intimidation alone. It actively hunts, launches fireballs, and dominates the inactive and active lava zones like a true apex predator. Starting with aggression level, this thing is relentlessly hostile. Once it notices you, it doesn't hesitate. Fireballs, charges, and constant pressure make avoidance extremely difficult. Aggression here is a strong 9 out of 10. Next is damage output, and this is where the sea dragon becomes truly terrifying. Its ranged fire attacks combined with direct physical hit can cripple or destroy vehicles in moments. Very few Leviathans can output this much damage this consistently. Damage output earns a brutal 10 out of 10. Now onto the ability to trap or corner the player. Despite its size, the sea dragon is surprisingly effective here. The lava zones have limited exits, vertical movement is restricted, and escaping often means navigating tight tunnels while under fire. While it's not as precise as a Reaper, it can absolutely pin you into bad positions. This earns a 7 out of 10. Now onto biome pressure. This is one of the most dangerous environments in the entire game. Extreme heat, environmental damage, poor visibility, and scarce safe zones mean that every mistake is amplified. Even without the sea dragon, survival is difficult. With it, panic sets in fast. Biome pressure is an easy 9 out of 10. Next is frequency of encounters. There are few sea dragons and they only appear late game. However, when you enter the territory, you're almost guaranteed to run into one. Encounters are rare globally, but unavoidable locally. This places frequency at a 6 out of 10. And finally, psychological pressure. The sea dragon's sheer size, deafening roars, and the sight of fireballs cutting through lava-filled caverns create an overwhelming sense of danger. Even experienced players feel small down here. Psychological pressure earns a solid 10 out of 10. So in conclusion, the Sea Dragon Leviathan is not just dangerous, it's oppressive. 51 out of 60, going in the same category as the Reaper of Run. It combines extreme danger, relentless aggression, and one of the most hostile biomes in the game into a single encounter. While it may not kill as many players as the Reaper, on raw threat alone, the Sea Dragon is one of the most dangerous creatures on the planet. If you make a mistake down here, there is very little room to recover. I don't know how to get out now, the Sea Dragon's after me. Wait, there's an architect's building. Let's quickly go in and hide in there. Okay, I think we're safe in here now. I'm gonna just keep moving, see if maybe there's a way out. Hold on. Who's this? How could I have forgotten about you? It's nice to see a friendly face again. The Sea Emperor Leviathan. The Sea Emperor Leviathan is one of the largest and most intelligent creatures on 4546b. But unlike every other Leviathan on this list, she's not a threat. She doesn't stalk you, well, maybe through the hallucinations you get, but those were good intentions. She doesn't attack you, and she never once shows hostility toward the player. Starting with aggression level, this is as low as it gets. The Sea Emperor is completely passive and actively cooperative. Aggression here is a 0 out of 10. Damage output. Despite her massive size, the Sea Emperor never attacks the player or their vehicles. There is no intentional damage whatsoever, earning another 0 out of 10. Moving on to the ability to trap or corner the player. Although she is confined within the containment facility, she never uses her size or environment to restrict your movement. You are free to move at all times. This category also sits at a 0 out of 10. For biome pressure, the containment facility is deep and isolated, but it is calm, controlled, and safe compared to most endgame areas. There are no hostile creatures inside, and escape routes are clear. Biome pressure here is low, 3 out of 10. Next is the frequency of encounters. You only encounter the Sea Emperor once during the entire game, and only at the very end of the story. That makes frequency extremely low, earning a 2 out of 10. Finally, psychological pressure. The Sea Emperor is not frightening. She's emotional. Her presence evokes sadness, empathy, and awe, rather than fear. There's no panic here. Only understanding. Psychological pressure gets a 0 out of 10. So, in conclusion, the Sea Emperor Leviathan is a calm and very beautifully designed creature. She doesn't threaten you, she doesn't hunt you, she doesn't make you panic. So in conclusion, she gets 5 out of 10, putting her in the best friends category, right next to the Reefback. And look, there's a portal here for me to get back. Looks like we had a great trip together, guys. It was a bit dangerous, but it was fun. Thank you for joining me on this adventure in Planet 4546b. If you like this type of content, then like and subscribe, and comment below what you want to see next, or what adventure we could go on next. Have a great day or night wherever you are, and I'll see you in the next one. Goodbye.